Uh, Good morning again. It's another beautiful day, and I'm so grateful to be alive. I want to tell you a story. My stories are intended to help you and I attain a healthy state of living, attain and maintain a healthy state of living. And health is not just about physical health, it's not just about the body. Health is about emotion, spiritual health, emotional health, psychological health, and of course, physical health. One of my favorite spiritual persons is Monk Thai, Thich Nhat Hanh, and he always says that everything is interconnected. So the physical is connected to our emotional, is connected to our spiritual, is connected to our psychological or mental. So we not only do we need to eat healthy, primarily a plant-based diet, like I've said before. Not only do we need to do moderate exercise, which I feel that 3 to 4 days of walking, 20 minutes to half an hour, I believe is sufficient. We also need to take care of our mental state or emotional state or spiritual or psychological state. Most people are very stressed out nowadays and overworked. Many people have second jobs or are working, seeking, chasing overtime, and very stressed out. They're on super stressful jobs, which, pays a lot of money, but at what cost? Many people, or I dare say most people, do not get enough sleep, and when they do sleep, they do not get good quality sleep. They go to bed late, wake up early. They go to bed late because they're up watching television for 2, 3, 4 hours, or on the internet, or doing something with technology, talking on the phone, and then they end up going to bed very late and they have a restless night's sleep, which the body repairs itself while we're sleeping, while our body is in fasting mode at night. That's when our body heals and repairs itself. So if we're not getting adequate amount of sleep and also good quality sleep, then our bodies cannot heal and repair itself, which is one reason why there are so many diseases and disorders present now. For example, many studies have shown that folks who don't sleep well or don't get adequate amount of sleep tend to have high blood pressure issues and depression issues. So those are some reasons why people are so anxious: overwork, insufficient sleep, and not good quality sleep. Also, a lot of folks are having, the coffee in the morning. It's a good thing to have a glass of water, not cold water off the refrigerator, but room temperature or warm water. And if you put like a half or a quarter of lemon or lime, just squeeze it in that water, it detoxes the body and also helps to bring the body into a more alkaline state, which is healthy. But coffee should never be the first thing in our bodies in the morning. We should break our fast with water, water with lemon or water with lime, or even a teaspoon of apple cider vinegar in that water will help to bring our body to a healthier state, a more alkaline and neutral state. So I wanted to tell you that story. Like I said, I met a lady and her son here in Georgia, and we got to talking, and they asked us where we were from, and we said Florida, and they shared that they were from One from Fort Myers. The mother lived in Fort Myers and the son lived in Port St. Lucie for a number of years. So I said, what brought you to Georgia? They said, the finance. The lady said to me that her husband has a business. And when they found that the money that they paid for rent in Florida, the amount of money they paid for rent in Florida was the same amount of money that they would pay. I'm sorry, let me back up. The amount of money they paid for rent, for 1 month's rent in Florida, is the same amount of money that they would pay for a whole year of rent in Georgia. She said that was that's the thing that really made them make the decision to move to Georgia. The son said to me that he owned a house. He had bought a house. Let me correct that. We don't own our house until we've paid every dime on it, by the way. Because while we're paying mortgage, the house doesn't belong to us. It belongs to the bank. And even after we've paid for it, we can't really say we truly own it. Because if we don't pay in the United States, if we don't pay our taxes, okay, the government can put our house up for auction for whatever we owe on taxes. So we've got to pay our taxes or the government will take our home, even though we've taken 30 years or 15 years or whatever to pay for it. The government can take away our home from us if we do not pay our taxes. They put a lien on it and they can put our home up for sale for little and nothing. So just wanted to correct that. Anyway, the young man told us that he lived in Port St. Lucie. He was paying for his house. And even though he rented out 2 rooms to 2 different people and was making $450 for each room, he still had to pay $900 on top of that for rent, insurance, and taxes. So he said he just could not survive that way. And he got married, and his wife's grandmother died, and the family's allowing them to stay in the house in the country of Georgia on 5 acres of land. He told me he doesn't pay rent. He just pays the taxes and insurance. So sometimes we have to make drastic changes for our for our mental state or sanity. Okay? Another story is that my friend who is a nurse, I have been a nurse for over 22 years, and my friend who's been a nurse for over 30 years called me. And most of the conversation was him complaining about the conditions, the working conditions at the hospital where he works, where he feels overwhelmed, stressed out. He told me that the night before we spoke, he left work at 9 o'clock, start work at 7, didn't leave work until 9 o'clock, and he said he didn't know how he got home because he doesn't remember driving home. He doesn't remember even getting home and getting into the bed. That's how tired and stressed out he was. He feels that he must have fallen asleep and somehow found his way home. Okay, so that's actually what is going on in the work environment now. It's getting worse by the day. Now, like this family, they decided to move to Georgia because cost of living was a fraction of what it was in South Florida. And I said to my friend who is a nurse, you can get work anywhere in the country, okay, as a nurse. You don't have to go back to school. You just apply for a license and you can move anywhere in the country. In Georgia, for example, houses are very, very cheap, and there are jobs in Georgia. And I suggested to him, why not sell your house in South Florida, which is assessed at over $300,000, which he said if he sells it, he can pay off the mortgage and he would have a lot of money left over. Well, why not sell your house in expensive South Florida, buy a house free and clear Here in Georgia, you can get a part-time job as a nurse and live a simple life until you get to the age of 65. My friend is 61. Then you can start collecting your Social Security and your pension, and you don't have to work. But cost of living, if you move from South Florida, is so much cheaper. And you could move to a cheaper state like South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia, Alabama. They are much cheaper states to live, and one can find work. And because cost of living is less, you don't really have to make as much money, and your life is less stressful, and you can have more peace of mind. You can get up whenever later, actually, if you don't have to work as much. Say, for example, if one only works part-time, you have the other days to get up when you feel like getting up and go to bed when you feel like going to bed. Also, in these states, you can get a lot more property for your money. I see houses in Georgia for $50,000 on 1 acre. And my friend loves to do gardening. Here would be an opportunity to garden on 1 acre of land. So the thing is that oftentimes we have to make all the time really, we need to make decisions that will benefit us, our health, or state of well-being. And to me, it's not worth killing myself on the job, working overtime, stressing myself out, falling asleep driving to and from work. It's not worth it. Okay? I would rather, at this point, I've made the decision. I'd rather work less, live cheaper, and have a peace of mind and some contentment, and be able to sleep in late and do my gardening and do whatever it is I feel like doing, rather than making more money but being stressed out, which affects our health. And stress causes all kind of disease conditions, including depression, diabetes, and cancer. So that's my story for today. I wanted to share with you. God bless you. Till we meet again. Take care.